Hi! What's up guys? If gusto nyo ng negosyo ngayon 2023, laser engraving business, I think this video is for you. This is the ultimate review about the Ortur Laser Master 3 LE. For safety concerns, use the included safety goggles or spectacles. Don't just look directly into the laser because this thing can blind you if unused properly. Basically, this review unit was sent by Ortur. I was really impressed by the build quality of the thing. Had really good packaging. It has a really decent paint job. I believe it's powder coated. It really feels rugged and stiff. Each component doesn't flex under forces or tension or torsion. So I can really say the build quality is great. Basing on the specifications, I'll just place them on the screen because I won't discuss each and every one. But the most important is, of course, the bed size. It's about 40 centimeters by 40 centimeters. The machine itself is really big, about 60 centimeters by 60 centimeters. The laser, it's just 5.5 watts, but believe me, the laser is really powerful. The laser model is LU2-4. The resolution where you can cut with this machine is 0.05 millimeters times 0.1 millimeters according to specs. So the speed is about 250 millimeters per second if you convert it from millimeters per minute. So next would be installation and setup. So it was really straightforward with the instruction manual. And also, of course, you could just go to YouTube or just search online for how to assemble the Ortur laser machine. There are also guides on the settings that you can use to cut different materials, which is really helpful if you are just beginning with this kind of business. There are software you could use, especially for this machine. The provided software or the compatible ones, GRBL laser or gerbil laser. Next is light burn. And my most favorite is the Wi-Fi or wireless function called Laser Explorer. So here, the materials you can cut with the Ortur Laser Master 3. You cannot engrave metal immediately using the 5.5 watt laser. However, you can still use the laser machine to etch or remove the surface on top of the metal. So if you're planning on making light lamps like these, which you have to engrave the top surface of the clear acrylic, it's not gonna work because I've tried it here. However, if you're just gonna cut solid color acrylics like the one shown in the website, I believe it's possible, but I haven't tried. I only have clear cast acrylic, which I tried engraving and cutting, but to no avail because this is a limitation of diode laser machines. You cannot directly cut or engrave on clear cast acrylic. The laser will just pass through the acrylic, a visible light wave spectrum. So if you want to cut acrylic, the easy way is to use the K40 CO2 laser machines. The procedures before you can cut, so when you turn on or long press the power button, green light would typically show up after a yellow blinking light. The machine cutting head would home initially on the first position, but after that you have to set the focus, which is easily done using the calibrated piece. So then you can connect using either Wi-Fi using the Laser Explorer app. It has a provided password and SSID name which you could connect to, or you could just use a USB. So after that, it's just pretty straightforward. However, the most important settings that you might encounter is just the speed, the power, and the resolution. So the speed, I usually use 100 millimeters per second, about 6,000 millimeters per minute, or you could just go as high as 180 millimeters per second, or you could just go 11,000 millimeters per minute. That's fine with this machine. Next is the power. I usually use 40% of the power to engrave because again, this laser machine has a powerful laser for 5.5 watts. It could easily engrave on wood. And also the resolution, this is usually indicated by the lines per millimeter. Typically, the range from 8 millimeters to 12 millimeters would be good for my use case because I just engrave texts and symbols on wood. But for others, you might want to increase this to a higher value if you're engraving photos on wood. So I want to explain more about the settings, but again, please comment down below if you want another video about it, more in depth. speaking of price, this will cost around 22,000 pesos as of August 2023. Might be higher or lower depending on the laser that you're gonna buy, but the higher the wattage of the laser, the higher the cost. But if you're just engraving on wood, I suggest get the lowest rated laser because you don't even need that high amount of power to cut a lot of things. I tend to like the results better for this machine compared to the K40 because, as you can see, this is just a failed print because it's not aligned well. But you could see that it's a bit more darker when you engrave the wood using the diode laser. Because sometimes when you use the K40 or CO2 lasers, the heat would spread just below the layer that you're engraving on, so it won't burn as much. That's why you don't get that deep blacks in the K40 laser, unless you, of course, you set the right settings. But here in the diode laser, it's easily done because its visible light could be easily blocked by the wood. The ease of use of this machine is just really nice. It's made for high-end hobbyists and entry-level business owners. So this machine could easily be transported with your car. You don't have to carry a lot of peripherals like air assist, water cooling, exhaust, especially when you're engraving on spot, just like this kind of coasters. Other laser machines that I've owned, like the K40 laser, requires a deep level of technical skill. You cannot just easily run a business and expect the machine to work flawlessly throughout the days. Even though I like this machine, it also has lacking features, especially number one. So I believe the Ortur Laser Master 3, the non-LE edition, has an emergency stop, but this one doesn't. It's convenient just to have a safety feature built in like that. This machine doesn't have the emergency stop button where you could just easily press it and all operations will stop. So this machine doesn't have that, so you just have to unplug it from the power cord, but still there's kind of delay when you unplug the device. So I kind of miss that feature. So this is not a lacking feature, but there's a difficulty setting the alignment of the machine to the product you're gonna engrave. So it's a bit difficult to check where the cutting point starts. It's gonna be a little bit difficult at first, but once you've tried a few test cuts and set the machine in place and set the product in place, then you could just easily replicate it. Because in the K40, there's a technique where you just shine a flashlight in the mirrors and it will just reflect on the cut piece of material where it starts and where it ends, so you could just trace where that reflection will go, and that's your alignment procedure. But for this machine, you have to estimate where the cutting head lands on this product. The Ortur Laser Master 3 LE uses silent motor drivers, so when you're engraving, you won't hear a lot of noise coming from the motors, because typically with cheap motor drivers, it's really noisy, especially if you're in a room. It's gonna make a lot of whining noises. So if you have a 3D printer before, you'll know what I mean. So my take would be easily recommendable if you want to use this machine for laser engraving business. It's technically easy to service and maintain. It's not of a headache compared to other laser machines. It has good build quality, and you can also engrave a lot of materials with this except for acrylic. So if you're planning to engrave acrylic, I suggest you buy a CO2 laser. I highly recommend the Ortur Laser Master 3 LE. Again, thank you very much for watching. Hope you have a good business running this 2023 and the next few years to come. So, bye-bye.